Okay, I guess we are on. Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Hi Masterclass. This time for a really special masterclass, we have a comeback. We have Natali Nascimento with us today. She is here. Hi Natali. So she's here today to talk about mastering digital accessibility. This is a masterclass that will be split in two parts. The next part will be next month and will be also with Natali. She is going to be here with us next month to talk about this part two. But let's stick with part one. And before Natali starts her presentation, let me just ask you, as I do always, to drop us a like, subscribe our YouTube channel. We would appreciate that. We have a lot of this type of content coming up for you in the next month, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's start this masterclass. Let me just say that Natalie has wrote an article about this presentation that you can scan on the QR code that it's on the next slide. Yeah, over here you can scan the QR code and go and see the blog article that Natalie has wrote. It is like a full guide for this presentation. It has a little hints about the part two that will take place next month. So yeah, enjoy this high masterclass and enjoy Natalie's presentation. So Natalie, how are you? And are you ready to kick this presentation on?
Yes, I guess I am. Let's
Okay.
see the
Okay.
audience, so we'll see
Yeah.
the presentation. But I guess I am. And João, thank you for your welcoming. um, so moving on, as João said, this masterclass is split in two parts. The first part we will be talking about in a high level of a step-by-step on how we implement a plan on digital accessibility, but we will focus more on, digital accessibility can sound intimidating, but doesn't have to be, right? In this class, we will walk through how to implement accessibility step by step on a high level and why it should be a priority. Everyone is talking about accessibility in these days. So in this slide, you have little steps on how you can implement a plan to make your products accessible. So before you redesign everything or rewrite code, the first step is to understand your current situation. Accessibility audit helps identify the barriers in your digital product that may prevent people with disability from accessing. So many teams leave accessibility, unfortunately, to the last stage, and that usually becomes more expensive and harder to fix. So instead, do evaluation activities, include accessibility checks throughout the process. Some examples: screen reader and keyboard only navigation tests, for example, color contrast and heading extractor validation, and user testing with the people with disabilities. And the key is to design with accessibility in mind through all your process and make sure development follows through. So quick tips in this step is use accessible components from your design systems. If your design system have components or elements that are not accessible, probably you are going to find this on initial audit. Include accessibility criteria in your user stories. That will be very helpful to checklist all the guidelines, all the rules that we must follow, and train your team, designers, developers, product managers, all have a responsibility, a role on this issue of the accessibility and integrate into the product life cycle. Accessibility isn't just a checklist. We see a lot of checklists through the internet about accessibility, but it is not just that. It's part of our product life, and we should make sure that it's considered in every step. So research include participants with disability in the design. Think about clear navigation and flexible layouts. Use accessibility annotation on your designs on Figma, Sketch, whatever. And on development, use semantic HTML that support assistive technologies. And of course, I will repeat this several times throughout this masterclass. Testing, validate with tools and real users. So, and the final step, keep validating after lunch. So the work doesn't stop here. It's ongoing work. Accessibility is something that you can never forget about it. It's we can run regular tests, automated or manual. We will talk a little bit about this during this masterclass and mainly in the second part, and collect and act on user feedback. Plan for continuous improvement. So, João, it seems a lot of to take in consideration, right? What do you think?
I see that it's a lot. Yeah.
But don't give up now. So we have a lot of to take in consideration. But why is so important? Why is everyone talking about this? Why it's important for your business, for the growth of your products, for you gain revenues on your apps, on your products. Digital accessibility is, first of all, what is accessibility, right? Digital accessibility is the practice of ensuring that websites, applications, and even digital content, the way we talk, the way we write, can be assessed by and used by everyone, regardless of their disability or their limitations. This means creating experiences that are inclusive from the ground up, not just usable by the average user, so by the people with a wide range of needs. And when we are talking about accessibility, we are not just talking about one type of disability. It includes a broad spectrum of conditions such as visual impairments like blindness or low vision that can be permanent or momentarily. And João, I know that you have something that you can share about this specific impairment.
Yeah, for sure. I did the surgery recently on both of my eyes, and yeah, I had a temporary disability, as you may call it, and I'm still recovering from it. And yeah, it impacted all my interaction, all my digital interactions so far. So, yeah,
Can you give an example of
yeah,
what
for
was
sure.
important for you?
For sure, like the photosensitivity was a big issue, but also like for example, I use Microsoft Teams
Mhm.
on a regular basis, and I had to zoom in like 200% so I could see what people were writing me or what I was writing down. So yeah, yeah. Now it's better. It's getting progressively better, but yeah, it was a really big issue in the beginning.
Okay, so that's a really good example of real situations that we usually don't take in consideration when we don't think about accessibility. So it's a really big group of users that we are excluding from our products when we don't have accessibility in consideration. So visual impairments, auditory impairments like deafness or hearing loss, physical impairments that affect motor control or mobility, even speech impairments like verbal communication, cognitive disabilities such as memory attention, for example, language related difficulties like including those of non-native speakers, well, like me here talking in
Yeah.
English instead of in Portuguese. Learning disabilities like dyslexia and even neurological conditions like epilepsy or neurodivergence. So designing with accessibility in mind helps ensure that everyone, no matter their situation, can navigate, understand, and interact with digital services in an equitable way. Um, so, and we have, well, more examples regarding its importance through our business as well, and several studies that can comprove that. I can start by talking about social inclusion. So, sometimes you can hear we don't have disability users, so why to invest in disability, we can think of. But the truth is, if our product isn't accessible, people with disabilities can use it at the first place. So of course it won't, you won't see them in your analytics. They are excluded before they even get a chance to use it. So digital accessibility is a gateway to social inclusion. It's allowed people with a range of disabilities like the ones that we talked about before. And this isn't just about compliance, it's about equity, it's about designing a society and a digital world where everyone can fully participate. And that's exactly what the European Usability Act vision stands for, that we are going to talk ahead on this presentation, that it's something that, well, in this year make accessibility more important, unfortunately, just because of this. But well, we can take the train and try to to train everyone to have an accessibility approach. And it's something that every business can contribute to simply by making even small and meaningful changes will be really helpful. Sorry. Another example is to enhance user experience. For example, as we can hear this. Things like that. Accessibility doesn't bring business value. We need to focus on what drives growth. But this is not true. Accessibility is a smart decision for business. When we design for accessibility, we are actually improving the overall user experience for everyone. Think of features like navigation, readable text, or keyboard shortcuts that benefit all users, so not just those with disabilities. Accessibility products tend to be easier to use, more intuitive, and more satisfying, which naturally leads to increased engagement and loyalty. And there's a broader market impact too. When we ignore accessibility, we are excluding a massive audience. We can talk about 2.3 billion people globally who collective control near 7 trillion in annual disposable income. So it's a lot of money that companies are losing by ignoring accessibility. So it's not just nice to have. Then with this approach, we can spend our audience and our business opportunities. So a common misconception is that accessibility features don't help us grow on our market, but in fact is the opposite. Accessibility is not about adding extra features that benefit a small group. It's about removing barriers so more people can use your product. And when we make digital experience more inclusive, we don't just improve usability. We improve usability for people with disabilities. We also reach older adults, people with temporary situations, like the example of João that you were sharing with us. And thank you for that. and that like a situation like a broken arm, or even we have this a lot noisy environment that difficult our experience, a lot of applications that we use outside our protected ambient. So and we can go again and talk about the numbers that I talked before. So beyond that, many accessibility innovations like voice assistants or predictive search start as an inclusive solutions and are now widely adopted by everyone. And accessibility isn't just a compliance issue; it's a path to better products, happier users, and real growth business, as we saw with the numbers. And the other one that is very familiar with João, you are talking, you are always pushing us to create articles that help Google, for example, to make our articles more important for the search, right?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It is really, really, really important, and it is curious because we have talked about this like yesterday, me and Natali. For example, image captions are really, really, really important in this
Meaningful,
SEO
right?
improvement. What? Sorry?
They should be meaningful.
Yeah,
Sometimes have a caption, but it doesn't have a real meaning, and that part is really important.
yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah. That is one of the examples in which accessibility needs to be minded when we are working on SEO and improving it. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Well, that was the example that I was bringing with this. Accessibility is important and can help with this issue as well. Sometimes we hear concerns like our system is too complex or screen readers won't be able to handle it. But accessibility isn't just about screen readers. It's about creating structured and well organized and semantically rich digital content, and that benefits everyone. In fact, many of the techniques we use to make digital products accessible, like using semantic HTML, descriptive links, and meaningful headings, also will improve your ranking in search engines. Just like assistive technologies rely on a clean and well structured content to understand and index your site effectively. So, even if your product is complex or designed for expert users, building with accessibility in mind makes it more navigable, not just for people using assistive technology, but also for searching engines, as João was saying. That means better visibility, more traffic, and well, a strong digital presence. That what João is always working for, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, and finally, with all that brand credibility. So sometimes companies can say, we don't have users with disability. The first example that I talked at the beginning. But the reality is the product isn't accessible. We are excluding a very big group of people of our products. So by making your digital product accessible, we are not just including more people, we are sending a strong message that your company values inclusivity, empathy, and social responsibility. So this kind of commitment doesn't go unnoticed. It builds trust with your audience, improves your public image, and enhances brand credibility. Not only with people with disability, but with their families, advocates, and wider community. So, in short, accessibility strengthens your brand, and it starts with being proactive and not reactive, solving at the end of a project when it's all already launched. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we have another motivation that is the European Accessibility Act. So, this European Accessibility Act is a crucial step towards creating a shared standard across the European Union. By aligning accessibility requirements, it helps remove barriers within the internal market and ensures that everyone, regardless of the ability, has access to essential products and services. So, as you can see here in Portugal, this European Act will this directive has been transposed into a national law, this decree here, which outlines specific obligations for digital accessibility in public and private sector. This includes websites, mobile apps, e-commerce, and here you have an example. So this the scope is really broad. We are not just talking about websites. The law covers a bunch of digital devices. Not sure if I can say like that. So, consumer tech, your phones, mobiles, computers, e-readers, self-service machines, ATMs, ticket machines, those kiosks that we have in airports, for example, streaming and TV, digital TV services like Netflix-style platforms that we all use a lot, internet infrastructure like routers, modems, anything used to get online, communication services like mobile networks, internet providers, message platforms, financial services, online banking, digital payments, even the ATM services, online shopping like e-commerce sites and platforms, and the emergency services. Here in Portugal is 112, in Europe is 911. So basically, if it's digital and people interact with it, there's a good chance it needs to be accessible, and this isn't just about your company website anymore. It's bigger than that. So you have here specific dates. This law come into force in December of 2022, and the full compliance for most private and public sector products and service is required by June 28th of 2025. So this is oversight of compliance is led by the Instituto Nacional para Reabilitação, the National Institute for Rehabilitation, and they coordinate with other regulatory bodies such as ANACOM, ERC, and AMT, depending on the sector of and the type of the service. In the part 2 of this class, we will explore how to create the requirement technical documentation to declare conformity with the law, with the requirements, so that your company is prepared and aligned with those new legal standards. We will see some examples. So, we have all of these guidelines, different names, European Accessibility Act. Where is this based? To ensure that digital accessibility will rely on a globally recognized standard, that is Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, the WCAG, and the European Accessibility Act is based on the version 2.1. We already have the version 2.2, but the Accessibility Act is for this version, is the current reference point. The WCAG is built around 4 core principles, often referred by the acronym PUR, which guide how we design and develop accessible products, like perceivable, so users need to be able to perceive the content regardless of how they access it. This means including things like text, alternative texts for images, captions for videos, and ensuring sufficient color contrast, for example. Operable, that is the interface must be usable for everyone. That includes people who use a keyboard instead of a mouse, voice commands, or other assistive technologies. So things like logical focus, order, skip links, and sufficient time to complete tasks are very important in these guidelines of this principle. The third one, understandable. So the content and interaction should be easy to understand. This involves using clear language, consistent navigation, and being helping users avoid and recover from errors. The goal is to minimize the confusion for everyone if we make a mistake, or not just users with the cognitive disabilities. And the final one, the robust, that is your content must be compatible with the current and future assistive technologies. If I use a keyboard, I should be able to use it, my app. That means I should have semantic HTML, proper area roles when needed, and testing with screen readers. A robust foundation ensures long-term accessibility. So together, those principles don't just improve access for people with disabilities, they lead to a better and more inclusive experience for everyone. And here you have this example. This poster is from Intopia, and I saw it in a post LinkedIn on how to make a strong cases for ACE from Vitaly Friedman, and it shows. Well, you can this is the version, the 2.2, but you can see that each guideline is related to a specific principle that we saw before. And I have another example to explain this. All of these names, the WCAG, the European Act, the decree that we have in Portugal, all of these guidelines and rules, sometimes we get really confused of what we should follow, what we should do. And Stephanie Walter uses a really great food metaphor to explain it. She says that WCAG is the cookbook. So it tells you how to make digital content accessible. The European accessibility is like food safety law, so it makes accessibility mandatory in European Union. And the Portuguese law, the decree, is your inspections checklist, so a technical standard used to verify that you are complying with the law. So she explains that when you talk about WCAG, you are really talking about the recipes, the practical guidance we follow to build inclusive digital products. And these principles, perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust, are the foundation of every good accessible recipe. And well, in the next part, the second part of this class, we will look into how all these elements come together in the context of the Portuguese law in real-world compliance. Which steps, which guidelines, which tools we can use to verify that we are compliant with all of the rules in this law. So these guidelines, WCAG guidelines that the European Accessibility Act is based on, help you follow testable success criteria and techniques for implementations. And well, as I said, in the second part, we will look at some examples to cover through all the process in a project. And we must thinking in accessibility, again, to build for everyone. Accessibility is not just fixing things. It's not just about fixing little things. It's about designing for the widest possible range of users from the beginning. And we have relevant principles that we can took to guide us through all of this journey. So we have this equitable use that we make it work for as many people as possible, not just for the typical user. Flexibility is to give people different ways to interact with your stuff, like keyboard, mouse, voice, touch. Keep it simple. So if your interface needs a manual, you're probably doing it wrong. And make information clear. So something that we didn't talk before, but for example, language, the way we write things, the content that we are using are really important for accessibility as well. Many issues that we found on products, like the user are not clicking on that specific button that I want for selling something. Most of the times is the content that it's not clear of what user will get when clicking on there. When through analytics, we can see that users are not clicking or are not using, but through usability tests, we can understand why, and most of the times is because of the content. So plain English or plain Portuguese, it's really important in this case. Other things like use good contrast, readable fonts, and don't rely on color alone to convey meaning. And be forgiving, help people avoid mistakes, and when they messed up, make it easy for them to fix those mistakes. So moving on to the end of this class, the part two, we are going to talk more in detail about this accessibility step by step. So if we look to the design thinking process, for example, we should be thinking in accessibility and have accessibility activities through all of the phases of our project. So remember the plan that I show at the beginning. So starting point, audit, accessibility, evaluation activities, plan and development, add accessibility in your user stories, integrating into your life cycle of your product, and do tests, do validations continuously through your after your the launch of your product. So we are going to see this more in detail, some examples of what we can do on each phase to help us be compliant with all of this European Accessibility Act. So these are some examples of things that we are be looking into. We are going to look at, we have these automatic checklists that you can use, but the manual checklists or manual validation is really important as well. Where we can find this, when we are designing on Figma, how we can enhance our intentions in your designs using Figma annotations, for examples. A lot of other companies documentation for accessibility, like IBM as well. So there's a lot of content that we can use to help us be compliant. And that's it for now. We will continue with more detail and more in practice in the second part. And thank you a lot. If you have any questions or if you want to share any thoughts, please feel free. I will be very happy to learn or to help or to be part of the community.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And if you have those type of questions that Natalie was talking about, please drop them on the comment section of this video. We will answer them straight away. And yeah, thanks, Natalie, for this great presentation.
It was
Thanks.
good round. Did you learn something or?
Yeah, I learned a lot, and I'm really, really excited for part two as well. So I, I can't wait for it to start. So, and for the ones that are like I am, subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop us a like, and stay tuned for part two. It will be coming out next month on next month's Hi Masterclass, and it will be also presented by Natali and her beautiful smile, and and yeah. You have the article that Natalie has wrote for this presentation. You will have the article that Natalie will be writing for the next High Masterclass. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks to the ones that stood by till the end of this High Masterclass and really got all the insight that Natalie has brought to us. And you are now minding accessibility on your digital projects. And yeah, without further to add, let me say goodbye to all of you and see you on part 2. So, bye bye.
Bye bye,
Thanks.
everyone. Thanks for